We must understand that at the ground basics of everything is about pleasure and pain. Every animal, every life species on earth, to a large degree, is about pleasure and pain. That's what runs our earth as of now. That's what runs the life systems of our living species on earth, and especially humans. Just imagine if there was no pleasure and pain. Just imagine a world today where you had no pleasure and there was no pain. The life lived will be the most boring life, and most people will perish over a matter of a week or within a month's time, because there is no motivation to live a life. We must understand that a core area of our brain which associates everything with pleasure and pain is what runs an individual life, which runs a society's life, which runs a country's life, and runs the world as a whole. And humans have gone to different degrees of pleasures and different degrees of pain. Around 30,000 years ago, when humans were evolving to be humans, the caveman and his family, the pleasure and pain was trying to scavenge for food, getting the best food sources. And when they used to get the basic food, it was the highest form of pleasure. And the pain was running from wild animals, moving from one place to the other, getting into higher ground maybe, trying to escape the predators. The pain was trying to protect themselves, building shelter, building defenses. 30,000 years ago. We have evolved over thousands and 10,000 of years and reached a stage today. Today, the forms of pleasure and pain, humans have evolved. We have seen kings 5,000, 6,000 years back, emperors, conquer vast areas of the earth just for the sake of pleasure. It was not that they were going to use all of the gold resources, the diamonds. There was a limit on how much they could use. But it was more from the sense of the brain of pleasure, because humans had reached a stage by which they had horses. They could move to territories. The horse was a source by which they could gain ground on any territory which was on land. And the more they had movement, and the more they had force, with their cavalrymen and the soldiers, they used to go to areas and capture more weak people. But everything was associated with pressure, and recognition. When you say that it's recognition, it's also a pleasure of oneself. The recognition gives pleasure to the emperor, the king. And you know that certain people of the kings during their times, like Genghis Khan, like some of the Roman emperors, conquered nearly 25% of the earth just for the sake of the brain neuron within the hypothalamus of the emperor's mind, which gave him pleasure, which gave him the recognition of pleasure, being as an emperor. But that pleasure had meaning only if it was with the energies of the earth. Today we remember kings, emperors who moved their pleasures along with the energies of the earth which sustain life, which means that they built the best of architecture along with the natural goodness of the earth, the flowering gardens, the forest systems, the birds, the animals. They looked after them well, and we remember such emperors. We remember Genghis Khan as he has conquered the world, but at the end of the day, the life of Genghis Khan went meaningless because it was all about himself. But we remember some of the greatest kings like Julius Caesar, some of the greatest emperors on earth. We cannot name all of them. Some of the dynasties on earth, the king dynasties. of China, the Romanovs, Chandragupta Maurya and the Ashoka within the Indian subcontinent, and many Persian emperors, emperors of Northeast Asia, people who had conquered vast amounts of territory for the sake of pleasure, but had only meaning if they moved with the energies of the earth as we remember them today. Today we look up to the Roman Empire in terms of the architecture, in terms of the gardens, in terms of the infrastructure they build along with the source code of life. We kind of despise emperors who just conquered even large parts of the earth just for their own pleasure. And we should know that most of the emperors, most of the kings who did it only for the pleasure experienced a lot of pain at the time of their death, in terms of losing everything that they had in the meaning of life that they lived. At the same time, emperors, kings who gained vast territories, usually emperors and kings with wisdom who gained vast territories of the earth, was not primarily through war. It was also through mutual understandings, through marriages within their kingdoms. They had understandings with other kings of smaller areas by which they would take maybe just 10% of their produce of the land and in turn give them security. And that way they advanced the kingdom with a sense of purpose with the universal energy, so that those kingdoms could be maintained much better with the source code of life. This must be the essence of our living today. Let's replenish our earth. Now let's understand that life is not just about pleasures. When you say a life is blessed, it means that it's a life which might be of also pain. It might be a life of challenges also. But it would be more of an adventure because you have a purpose with the source code of life. Just imagine you took a road trip as of now in a desert. You had the best vehicle which could move into any territory, and your ride will be a most adventurous ride if you are with the right vehicle with all of the equipments. And that is your purpose. The vehicle which gives you a complete lubrication in your journey, no matter pleasure or pain. Because you have a purpose with the source code of life, a purpose with the own oxygen that you breathe. And that purpose is with the source code of eternity. That's what makes your life, our lives, have a meaning in the vehicle of time that we have on earth. The time that we lived today for the present generation, solving problems, solving challenges, be it in small degrees, maybe 50 people, 1,000 people, 1,000,000 people and more. Once you solve challenges faced by people and give them solutions, give a better level of information technologies which move with the energies of the earth, do a better job in terms of the gardens that we manage, do a better job in terms of the educational systems, the law enforcement systems, so that vast sections of the society is protected, the country is protected with the defense forces. Once we move our technologies, our evolution of knowledge, along with the source code of life which sustains life for every being, then we are on the right side of the creative force of the universe. You must know that there will not be any pleasure in your life if you do not have pain. It might be a statement which might look a bit funny on the outside. How can you have pain and then have pleasure? But if there was no pain, there will not be pleasure. That's a fact of life. A mind which can experience pain is the mind which can also experience pleasure. It cannot just be one-sided. Just imagine we had a world which was all about pleasure, without a purpose. You will find that the world would end within a matter of no time at all. Because pleasure without purpose is downfall. And sometimes when you have purpose, You will have pain along the way. Because at the end of the day, you're working with the source code of life, with the source code of eternity, for the temporary speck of life that we have. And when pain comes along, it will turn into pleasure because you're with the source code of our own oxygen which sustains life. And let's get away from focusing on our bodies alone. Let's know that our lifespan on earth is a journey into eternity. And when we contribute in the right way, in the present, with the source code of life, which sustains every living being for the past millions of years, and also millions of years into the future, you're one with the source code of time, because you're contributing in the present for the future. We must understand that everything about life is about energy. And it can be for your good or for our bad, There are no two ways about it. Anything that we decide on earth, everything that we decide as a human, as a person, as an individual, within the society, within the country and for the world, everything starts on an individual basis. And it's all about an energy that you're in. And that energy is that deep thought pattern within your subconscious and the deep stories that is built within the subconscious. And you can draw the energy either from the positive side or the negative side. And we can be assured if we are drawing the energies from the energies of the earth which sustain life, it will be for prosperity. No matter what problems come, you will overcome it within this world or even outside the world. Outside the human body also, because you're working with the source code of life. On the other hand, if you're working with any dark energy, you can be assured that the dark energy will consume us at some point of time. And that's a fact of life. Even that is also within this earth, within your body and outside your body also. Outside our bodies also. It's all about energy. As you know, two stars collide and new stars are formed. It's within the energy of the universe. There are different forms of energy. At the end of the day, everything works in balance. The universe works in balance with the source code of life of our earth. The basic reason that we are breathing and the basic reason that we have oxygen is because the source code of life has prevailed over the dark energies. And even the dark energies, by some chance and by every chance and on 100% basis, will become one with the source code of life. It will be through a form of destruction for the sake of creation. This we must understand in clarity. In between pleasure and pain is where purpose comes. The bridge between pleasure and pain is where purpose falls. And your life will start to have meaning in the extremes of pleasure and pain with purpose. And that will be the direction of your sense of goodness within the source code of life of our own oxygen that we breathe. Now, as a human, we have evolved as humans. We are with the creative source of God to very minute degrees. And that is the only difference between all other species of life. We can create. No other species of life can create like we do. Birds make their nests, but it's happened for thousands of years along the same lines. But humans are able to evolve their creations, create new ideas, and make those ideas into life. And that is what is the essence of being a human. And when I say that between pleasure and pain is where purpose comes, your purpose can have only meaning with the eternity of time. It is if it is with the energies of the universe which sustain life. Any other purpose which is about the carnal self alone will have no meaning as a human. It will be just like any other animal lived and become dust on earth. The reason that we are human, once we admire the reason that we are with the process of the evolution of time in terms of creativity as a human, then the pleasures and the pain along with the purpose will create discipline in our lives. Our life will start to evolve with discipline so that we can move with our purpose towards the end goal of being one with the source code of the own oxygen that we breathe. A life between pleasure and pain with a purpose, with the source code of the oxygen that we breathe and of the every living systems of life within us. When our life is lived within these two directions of pleasure and pain of life, it is the natural essence of life to have pain and pleasure. If you want to attain a goal in terms of building a building, you have to go through the process of building a building, building a company, building a personality along with the source code of life. Any other kind of building, trying to compromise on the cement, trying to compromise on the foundation, trying to compromise on the essence of our personality will only make the building to collapse. So, your personality, your company, the work that you do will have essence with the source code of life, will be powered by the universal energy of life. Once the pleasure and pain is met with a purpose and with a sense of discipline. And being in a sense of discipline in life is not about trying to forego all other pleasures of life. It is one of the best, smartest and wisest things that we can do for ourselves, to live a discipline of pleasure and pain with a clear purpose, with the energies there to sustain life, which will make us have a meaning in the yesterday, today and tomorrow. When we are contributing in the present for the future, along with pleasure and pain, with the purpose and with discipline, we are moving with the source code of life, of our earth, of our universe. Let's replenish our earth.
Just imagine that you walked on a seashore. You're walking on a seashore. And then along the seashore you saw the entire expanse of the area covered with sand. And then you took, with your palm of your hands, a measure of sand into your hands. And then you looked up in the night sky. You saw different stars blinking above. You also saw the moon. Now, when you looked at the sand is just a part of the vast expanse of the seashore. Such is the universe that we live in. The earth that we live in is a part of the sand which is within your palm, within the universe. That is the example of how minute the earth is within the expanse of the universe. The universe is about infinity, the infinity of stars, the infinity of planets, the infinity of different suns, different solar systems. The universe is about the infinity of distance. Now we must understand that the earth is a blessing for humans to evolve over a period of millions of years. And for the past 10,000 years and 1,000 years from today, it's a part of the evolution of humans to be in sync with that source of energy which provides the earth to be the most sustainable planet for humans to thrive and evolve as per our understanding as of now. Once we come to that understanding, we will know that we are a part of the enormous galaxy system. The Milky Way, as we understand, is just a minute dust in the expanse of the universe. And within that expanse, within Earth, we are individuals. Now we must also understand there is no difference for the universal energy with the tiniest of cells and the largest of planets or the solar system. It's our brains which measure these large functions of different planets or the minutes of cells, and then we try to segregate the workings of a cell and the workings of a universe or the planets within the solar system or the earth. But essentially, to the universal mind, even a minute cell has the same value as the largest of planets on earth within our solar system. So it's just the human understanding with our human mind that we have tried to categorize the worthiness of a cell and the biggest planet on our solar system. We must understand it's the energies of the universe which provides us with the life of health, wealth, and spiritual goodness. And once we respect our earth, we are part of that eternal force of the universe, which does not distinguish the small human that we are. It does not distinguish the largest planet. It does not distinguish the greatest solar system. It does not distinguish the cell, the first cell within your mother's womb. It does not distinguish the person. As long as we are connected with our humanness, which makes us different from all other species of life, within the source code of creativity, we have a time span and a time stamp in the eternity of time. Once we contribute in our today for the future generations, we are being grateful to that source of infinity which has given us that small speck of life as of now. And in contributing in the present times for the future of the universe, for the future of our earth, and acknowledging the blessing of the universal force, we are one with the source code of life. Let's replenish the earth. When we go out in the wild, or when we go out in the middle of the sea, or if we go out into an unknown place within the desert, deep within the desert, if you're out in a place of absolute solitude where you have no kind of understanding of where you are, maybe the most frozen areas of the world, the Arctic regions, and just imagine by some chance you're alone. There's no other option. There's no other way out. Now, what do you do when you're in a situation in life when there is no other way out? You're stuck somewhere and there's no help coming. So you must first understand as to why we got into that situation. If you're going into the middle of Antarctica and getting stuck there is a reason by which you went there alone and got stuck. If you went into the deep ocean and got stuck, there is a reason by which you have moved into the middle of the ocean without any kind of help or any kind of planning or by some chance. Or if you have gone into the desert and been alone. No, I'm not saying all of these situations are created by yourself. But what I'm saying is you have not taken precautions. We have not made the journey's truth of life understood. We have gone with the understanding that everything is going to be all right, and if we pursue our dreams for our flesh alone, without being considerate of the energies which sustain our own lives, if we are not respecting the very oxygen that we breathe, we will not get help from the source of abundance, from the source that gives us life. Just imagine you or another species is breathing life, and then working against the same oxygen. What kind of sense does it have? If we are going and pursuing our dreams alone about atomic fresh being and human, why should we be such foolish to get into such situations? So the first thing is to understand that we have created the situation to a large extent for ourselves. In whatever situation in life you are in, it is because of the basic thought patterns within our deep subconscious which makes us plunge into such misery in life, such deep pits in life. But once we come into that understanding, no matter which situation you are, you will start connecting with the force of life, and some kind of miracle will start to happen in your life. I'm not saying it will happen all of a sudden, but the whole difference is that we are genuinely connected with the force of life. We are genuinely connected with the source of our oxygen, all of the life systems around us. And once we are helping those systems prosper, even if you're in the middle of the sea will calm down if you're connected with the source code of life. I'm not saying that it's going to be a miracle, you're going to be a miracle maker, but it's the essence of your being connected with the natural energies of the earth, which sustain life. The basic reason that you're living, you have acknowledged that it's the oxygen and the water which keeps us alive. And that the universal source is an inspiration in your life, is a blessing in your life, is a support in your life. And when you have the universal energies with you, who can be against you? Let's replenish our earth.
Around 300 years into the future, there was a young woman in her early 60s looking for a partner. Now, when we say a young woman in her late 60s or early 60s, 300 years into the future, it meant that even people in the age of 60 had very good health, had very good skin, had a very good attitude towards life, along with the source code of the universe, the supercomputers, the quantum computers, and deep learning, and also the biological cell therapies and information technologies which developed along with the cellular technology had advanced such a stage that even at the ages of 60 to 70, people could look young, people could be still healthy, people could have all kinds of experiences which the youngsters at the age of 20 to 30 experience. This will be the evolution of technology in terms of prolonging life and keeping life essentially quite healthy if the person who wants to adopt such a life has the right kind of attitude towards life and the right kind of approach, along with the deep learning systems, the advanced systems of advanced general intelligence who will guide humans to lead quality lives into the future. So the woman at the age of 60 was looking for a partner, and she found another 60-year-old person, a man of the opposite sex. She had spent the time throughout her life till the age of 60 in 3 relationships. The initial relationships in her 20s worked out till around 40 years, and then because of mutual disagreements and because she did not know the essence of life was being with the energies of the earth at that time, she did not have that information. The basic mantra to live the greatest of life on earth, she did not have that kind of knowledge at the age of 40. So her relationship between the age of 25 to 40 was all about herself and trying to gain from a relationship. And due to that, she lost a lot in life. Most of the meaning that she wanted in life was lost because it was all about herself. The real mantra of living a wonderful life along with the source code of life was to cultivate a good sense of calmness within, a peace within. And with that peace, understanding and knowledge, the outer world becomes wonderful. She did not have that knowledge. The knowledge that inner peace, inner calm, inner knowledge, no matter what problems come into her life, will turn out to be a solution did not occur to her life till the age of 25 to 40. And at the age of 40, when she was in a deep misery in life, that's when a very learned scholar of the time informed her to cultivate a sense of purpose within, not just for the carnal self, but a purpose along with the source good of life, the source good of the oxygen that we breathe and all of the energy systems which gives us life. And when she started doing that with genuine and gratefulness for the very oxygen that she breathed, with genuineness, that was the difference. It was no longer a trick of thankfulness to get something more. The genuineness of her soul to be thankful for the universal energies which helped her life started to change her life. And the universal abundance, the universal goodness, the universal love of the oxygen that we breathe started to change her life. The universal source good of God started to move into her life. And all aspects of her life started to change. The very cells in her body was being illuminated by the source code of life. This will be also our experience today. If we move with a purpose to serve the future generations by solving problems, by making their lives much better in terms of the quality of life systems, we will enhance our own living on earth. We will have a greater meaning. Let's replenish our earth. Emotions vary all the time in different people. Emotions are what a person is in the inner self. Emotion is your core reflecting on the outside. The core emotion is what drives people and motivates people or demotivates people. So, what is the real emotion between anything that we do, anything that we commit, anything that we plan to do ahead in the future? The emotion behind it reveals the nature of motivation, the nature of our energy levels to get things done. So let our emotions be with the godly force of creation, with our own oxygen. Let our emotions not vary into the extremes, but let our emotions be one with the subconscious of calmness. To get a calmness of emotion, to be on the right side of our connection to the universal mind, is to be in a state of goodness with our own life systems around us. Being in sync with the own oxygen gives us a state of emotion which is along with the source code of life. We must understand that we cannot appreciate people who can be in the wrong kinds of emotion. We must not give importance to people who display extreme variations of emotion. We must understand that human emotion is all about the future. Human emotion is all about the goodness within. Human emotion is about why we are human. We know that there can be emotions triggered very easily by instinct in animals. We know that a dog, when it sees a food, I'm saying kind of most dogs, it displays a very large degree of emotion to eat the food at the right time. But the emotion within a human is reached such a stage that we are able to control the impulses to a large degree. And what makes a human advanced in the emotional equilibrium is they're able to withstand the pressures of the external environment and keep a calmness within the soul. And that kind of calmness only comes from a kind of meditative state of mind, a kind of deep understanding of oneself, a deep knowledge about our purpose within our world. And once we have a clear defined purpose with the source code of life, with the life systems of our earth, which provides life to every living being on earth, our emotions will be able to move along with the natural flow and rhythms of the life-sustaining forces and our own oxygen. Now, there can be different kinds of brain levels in different people. The secretions of different chemicals within the mind raises emotions, kind of makes one happy or sad. As we understand that the serotonin levels within the human brain can make a person feel good, or can make a person feel depressive, or can make a person feel angry if they have the different kind of emotional levels within the minds and the chemicals associated with it. But our emotions will come to a kind of balanced level once we know the real truth of life. The truth of life, in a large sense, is that we should work for a purpose. Our life is associated with a purpose along with the energies of life of our universe, our earth, of our own being, the oxygen that gives us life and the water that gives us life. Once we understand the basics of our life, it's about a purpose within the universe and the eternity of time. We understand that we are feeble in nature. Our lives are a temporary speck in the time span of history. And the speck of life in the time span of history will have all kinds of meaning. And the greatest of meaning once we devote our lives for the future generations by working in the present. And the present is also being blessed because we are tapping into the source code of the very oxygen that we breathe and the goodness of life, of all of the energy systems around us, which keeps us alive, helps us prosper, thrive, and evolve into the future. Now, once we are in touch with the source code of the universal energy, the source code of God, the God of our different faiths, helps us keep our emotional balance. No matter what happens, once we have a purpose with the energy systems and the life-giving forces, and once we work for the future generations in the present, no matter what problems come into our lives, those problems will turn into solutions. That must be our belief. And that will be the case in case we work with a clear purpose. And purpose is life and life is purpose. That kind of attitude towards life will bring about an emotional balance within us. We should understand that any kind of emotional state with the wrong kind of energies, the dark energies as we call it, the kind of programs that we see on television, social media, radio, or any kind of information which moves into our mind in terms of dark energies of working for our carnal selves alone, will create states of emotions which are extreme. It will be a very high variation on the graph because there is no purpose of our lives on earth. When our purpose is with the higher force of the universe which gives life to every soul on earth, the variations in the graphs of emotions will come to a balanced approach of our attitude towards life. Once we are behind our carnal selves alone, running after money, wealth, and trying to gain everything in the fastest way without a purpose, with the source code of the very reason that we live. Once we move away from the basic reason that we are breathing oxygen, the basic reason that we are breathing oxygen is because of the magnanimity of the goodness of the universal forces. And once we express our gratitude in the primal sense for the very reason that we exist and for the very reasons that our cells are powered with the electricity of the universe, then we are moving towards health, wealth, and spiritual goodness for ourselves, for our society. And once this kind of thought process of gratitude at a primal sense moves into the whole world, all of our discoveries into the future will turn out to be the best solutions for humanity into the future. All of our wars, all of the turmoils created by the carnal thinking, the wars, the deprivations of other humans, the mass hunger, plagues associated with people who do not have enough will be wiped out because we have sensed the gratitude of humans being one with the source code of life. Now, as you understood that in different geographies, different people have different abilities. It does not mean that we are distributing wealth to everyone, but we come to a basic understanding that as a human life, that life is very unique and can connect with the source code of life through creativity. And when that kind of understanding permeates a majority of the humans, they will be grateful for the very reason that we are alive and we are being empowered by the universal energies. And although we might have differences in our abilities in different continents, in different areas of the world, in different geographies of the world, we will come to a unique and magnanimous decision that humanity as an individual connected to the source code of life is one in a general sense. And we will respect that humanity by giving most of the humans on earth the basics of life, which includes food, water, shelter, and a basic education to move along with the energies of our life, of our earth. And once we reach such a level of understanding, there will be still different contributions from different parts of the world. As we said, the African continent basically has the stamina, the energy, the physical qualities. There are certain parts of the world which are better at engineering, geography, the physical sciences, information technologies. We will be able to get the best out of every part of the world and amalgamate it to make it one humanity, along with the greatest of intelligence sources that we will have into the future, the greatest of deep learning, the quantum computers, the advanced general intelligence will make humanity understand that essentially most of the humans are one and interconnected. All of us are interconnected in some way. That does not mean that there are no differences. Every country has its own culture. Every country has its own tradition. Every country has its own development. They can be highly modernized. But in essence, the ground foundation of food, water and shelter will be available to all humans. And those humans in every part of the world, even in areas where there is extreme poverty as of now, 50 years into the future, advanced general intelligence will be able to help those humans get into the basic levels of life with food, water, shelter and education. And with that kind of support, they will be able to move with the energies of life and create goodness for themselves, wealth, abundance. We cannot feed wealth to every person on earth. That is not the objective, and that is not the priority for humans. Humans will have the ability to move along with technology, and advanced general intelligence take support from them, and that will be available all across the world. And prosperity can be generated across different parts of the world. Different areas of the world will contribute in different ways through their abilities. But the basics of the foundation of life, which brings about goodness in the mind and thought process and creates energies of goodness on earth, will be supported. We must know that some of the big imbalances which is happening within the energies of the earth is because there are vast areas of the earth which are completely depleted in terms of the people. Certain sections of our population have forgotten certain parts of the world and left them at their misery. But at some point, the misery will start to affect other regions, like the recent plague that we saw today. In the years, which was just 4 to 5 years back, the coronavirus, which was in one part of the earth, affected the whole population of the earth because it was not targeted at its prime. And when it was not extinguished while it was getting into a vast virus network, if it could be contained, it would have been the best measure, but it could not be contained because we did not have the knowledge that if we neglect certain parts of the earth for a long time, at some point of time, those parts will start to affect our lives, no matter how modern we turn. So the basics of life has to be given to the vast population of the earth, and also the basic knowledge, so that humans can evolve along with the source code of life, the source code of every life form on earth. The very reason that we are alive, breathing the oxygen of the goodness of the godly force. Once our respect for the basic systems of life are in place, in terms of an individual, in terms of a society, a country, and the whole world as a whole, in terms of the subconscious belief that we are one with the source code of life, we will evolve our technologies. Each area of the earth will contribute in their own forms, leading to a magnanimity of contributions and an evolution of goodness in terms of the energies of the earth. Cultures will develop in its full potential. Science and technology will develop across the earth by different regions contributing their unique technologies for the betterment of the earth, not to kill and destroy others, but for a magnanimous togetherness. Songs, music, arts, culture, the goodness of our life in terms of culinary food, drinks, beverages, our travels, our expressions of love, life will start to prosper across the earth because we have moved our thinking from the carnal self of just trying to get things for ourselves and moved our thoughts towards a magnanimous way of life Let's replenish our earth. One of the greatest marketing mantras of today is being marketed by different concerns across the world, companies, and it has been shown to us in social media, television, radio, and any kind of information channel which comes to us is to go behind an idea, a concept, a desire, with greed. The concept of greed is being enhanced in humans due to consumerism. What is the end game of consumerism? It is profit for certain individuals. So the more greed that can be moved into the market for any particular item, for any particular desire, for any particular wish of people, the more greedy people become, the more of a bait for the marketing companies. You get more fish. It's more profits for companies. The more greedy people become, the more profits for companies designing the product, designing the idea, designing the movie, deciding the concepts, being moved into a human mindset behind greed. And the more greedy a person is in the stock markets, it is one of the best baits to get the maximum profit for someone within the stock market who is on a very level head, who is very calculative, and who is moving with a process in a long-term approach. Usually, once you see a lot of short-term traders, nearly 99% of them, to my knowledge and as per the information available, they lose money in the stock markets because the energy of greed is tuned to high degrees. The basic concept of the soul being one with the universal source code of life is lost. The basic concept that we're breathing the oxygen which provides us life, and we should work along with the energies of life, is lost. And everything revolves around greediness. So what exactly is greediness? Greediness is evoking that inert carnal desires within humans, which is exclusively for the body alone, and which is one of the most foolish ideas to work on as a human. So if a company in the world, if some of the greatest companies, we do not blame the companies, if they need to make the maximum profit, they will have to evoke that carnal instincts in humans. And the more people who run after wealth, money, and behind the concept of getting something fast, it makes the fastest returns for the companies, people who put out those ideas. And just like some of the best fishes which falls for the bait, we move behind our inert greed and fall into baits of life of the marketing companies, of different ideas, of people with better sense, with a calculated approach, with a long-term approach. They make much better returns. So let us not get into the idea of greed to move our lives, to better our lives. It is one of the worst concepts in life to get into. Greed is associated with downfall. There's no two ways about it. Greed is not about getting wealth and going more behind it. Greed is going behind an idea which is completely foolish, being cast out by people with a better sense so that they can make a better profit. And as we explained before, let us not fall prey to the bait of greed. Let us have a clear direction within our souls, within our subconscious of our minds, to move with the source good of life. And what is moving with the source good of life? It is to work in the present on an idea in the field of work for the future generations, and in solving problems, challenges of the present generations, which will help the future. We ourselves are being blessed because we are working with our own oxygen, as we mentioned before. So it is not a hi-fi science. It is one of the best and wisest things we can do for ourselves. Let's replenish our earth. The reason why purpose with the source code of life, it sustains every living being on earth, and the very oxygen that we breathe and the water that we drink and all of the energy systems that is around us, is the only truth of life is. Because purpose is the only way by which we can be one with the eternity of time. We are born as humans. We have a life and a soul within our human body. And we should understand in very clarity. Billions of people have come before us over many tens and thousands of years in the evolution of humanity. And millions and billions of people will come after us. All of us will turn dust one day and be a part of the earth. And the only meaning that we can have of life within this human body for the temporary speck of life that we live in the eternity of time is with that purpose, to be with the source code of life, the very oxygen why humanity survives and every other living species survive. The advancements of the deepest of learning, artificial general intelligence, the greatest of computer chips, quantum computers, biological evolution of sciences which replicate the way the millions of and billions of cells function within the human body and the life structure of every biological being, which will be emanated in future sciences, which includes physics, chemistry, biology, any kind of technology evolving into the future, because the basic systems of biology within the human body, where billions of cells interact and work in its own unique way, will be the future of the evolution of technology. Now, this technology requires less power than the power sources that is required as of today, by which companies are looking forward to nuclear power reactors to get the right energy, the electricity to power the data centers, by which we call as cloud computing. The requirement of energy will reach such a stage that it will be quite impossible to get all of the data processed in terms of our present knowledge about deep learning and the evolution of data sciences, gathering data from different chips and providing all of the resources in terms of quantum computing, and the technology is moving from 5G, 6G and much faster. Technological needs and electrical power and the power sources would reach its maximum potential as per the technologies which we have today, and the only option which we have is to go to technologies which require much less power, just like the human body with billions of cells which work in interaction with each other, and each cell is very unique. It's a life source on its own, and we will move into such technologies.